Look, advice that's too good to be true, advice that just feels wrong usually is. Hello and welcome to Pillars of Wealth Creation, where we talk about creating financial success with a special focus on business and real estate. I'm your host, Todd Dexheimer. Now, let's get to it. Hey, welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Todd Dexheimer. And man, I want to talk about who you're getting advice from. You're listening to this show, you're getting advice from me or feedback from me, but who are you actually getting advice from? And there's so much garbage on the internet, on social media, and all these sites. And if you're a real estate investor, you've probably been on Bigger Pockets. If you haven't, I'd go on there. But that's what really got me thinking about this, is that Bigger Pockets is a great place to get advice, but it's also a pool of crap, right? And so you can get terrible advice, you can get excellent advice, and on the same post, you'll get both. So, who are you actually getting advice from? I think is really important to understand. And then how do you sift through the garbage? Because there's just so much stuff. If you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, all that kind of stuff, there's just so much misinformation, bad advice, all that kind of stuff. And so I think there's a couple things you really should be thinking of when you're thinking of the advice you're given. First of all, you have to really dig into who the person is that's giving you that piece of advice, and how is their advice related to what you're asking. So if somebody's going to ask a question about about flying an airplane, and I give an answer, well, I might be an expert on a lot of things, but I'm certainly not an expert on flying an airplane, right? If I'm going to give you advice on health, well, okay, I'm a fairly healthy person, but who am I to give you advice on health? Now, I've got opinions, certainly, but again, what are my opinions formulated from? They're from other people's opinions, research, that type of stuff. So I think it's really important to go, okay, who is this person that's giving me advice? I would say don't take advice from somebody who hasn't done what you're trying to do and isn't currently doing that, right? If so, even in real estate, look, I'm a real estate guy, and I do a lot of things in real estate, but I don't do low income housing tax credits. Why would you take advice from me on that? I currently I have flipped, so I can give you some advice on that. But if I'm giving you advice on the current flipping market, like I don't have that expertise. I have flipped a lot of houses. I've flipped probably more houses than the vast majority of the population out there. So I can give you certainly advice on certain things with flipping, but I can't give you advice on today and what's going on, in the market, and what the best strategies today are in order to flip. Like, that's not my area of expertise. Um, take advice from if you are trying to buy large multifamily properties, I'm your person, right? I'm your guy. Like, I can help you navigate that, especially if you're trying to buy value add multifamily in the Midwest, in markets that I'm buying in. Like, I can give you great advice for that. Um, and so find the person that is where you want to go, doing the things you want to do, and that's currently actually doing that, and also understand their motivation. Okay, what's their motivation to give you advice or to give you bad advice? Do they have motivation to give you bad advice? What type of character, what type of person they are? Um, if it's online, you know, what's their reputation online, of course. But I think it can get really confusing with trying to understand who people are, because people can wear a mask really easily. And so even when somebody says, I've done a bunch of deals, have they really? And what's their true experience doing a bunch of deals? Did they just raise money for a few deals? And then they're giving you advice on how to buy these deals. Well, look, I mean, raising money on a few deals, even if you raise 10, 20, 30 million dollars, 50 million, 100 million, if you're raising money, well, again, like who are you taking advice from? That person knows how to raise money. They're really good at that. But do they know how to buy and operate properties? Well, that's not what they're doing. That's not their area of expertise. Their area of expertise is getting to know uh, people and getting them to invest in the deals that they're raising money for. They might, quite frankly, not even be that good at understanding if a deal's good or not. Hopefully they are, but some of these people that are raising money, I don't think they understand even what a good deal looks like. And so you're taking advice from that person is potentially a bad person to be taking advice from. So trying to sift through understanding who this person is, what they're actually doing, what their true experience is really challenging, but I think really important when you're taking advice. Um, I think you also need to look at, does the person have something to gain from their answer to you? So if somebody's, you're talking about raising, sorry, you're asking a question about, real estate, and somebody gives you an answer that leads you to potentially buy a coaching program from them, invest with them, buy a piece of real estate from them if they're a realtor, those types of things. If those are things that, they are potentially, gaining from giving you an answer. Again, not that their answer is wrong. It might be a great answer, but understand their motivation for giving you that answer. I think that's really important. I think what's also valuable is that you take a step back when you get advice and you think that's great advice, or you're following that direction. I think you need to take a step back and really process the advice that was given, try to make sense of it. Your gut is trust your gut on it a little bit. I don't want to tell you to that has to be advice that's given over and over and over again. But look, advice that's too good to be true, advice that just feels wrong usually is. So understand that I like when I'm on an online forum, part of some of the benefits about like a bigger pockets is that it's an online forum and everybody can answer. And so when you start to see the same thing or the same theme over and over and over again, that's likely some pretty sound advice. So, and when you see somebody give a piece of advice, a lot of times that'll actually be shot down. One of the things that somebody was complaining about on Bigger Pockets is that people were answering these questions about Huntsville, Alabama. So is Huntsville, Alabama a good market? And this guy from Alaska answers, yeah, it's a great market, great for cash flow. If you really want cash flow, buy in Huntsville. Another guy from Texas answers, oh, this market's really good. This city is close by, and it's like, wait a second, who are these people? They don't even know what's going on. They Googled it. They've heard about the market, but they really don't. Do they really understand what's happening in the market? Do they have boots on the ground? Are they understanding what's going on? So the intention may be good, but if it's just something that you can look up from a quick Google search, like, so look at the authenticity of the message, look at the messenger, try to understand the advice that they're giving and where's it coming from, right? And I think those are fair questions to ask to people like, hey, yeah, Huntsville, Alabama is a great market. It's great for cash flow, blah, blah, blah. And the response back is, great, thanks for the advice. How many properties do you currently have in Huntsville, Alabama? If the answer is, well, none, then okay, I know the advice that I'm getting is maybe something to throw out. So, um, you know, I think it's so important to sift through it. It's so important to then do your own research, advice that you get, write some of the things down, like look at it, do your own research on that advice and determine if it's right for you. And that's the other thing, like advice from people feedback from people might be right for you and it might not be right for you. So I can tell you that, doing a certain look, I'm a multifamily investor and I like to, so I raise private capital for my real estate investments. So I'm bringing in passive investors and we're doing a value add on the deal. We are buying it with fixed rate debt. We're holding it for, 5 years and so on. Well, that is sound advice if I give that to somebody, but it doesn't mean it works for them. Maybe maybe they don't want to buy real estate in the Midwest. Maybe they want to buy in Texas or Southeast or something like that. Maybe they don't want to buy a 100-unit building. Maybe they want to buy a 20-unit building. Maybe they don't want to bring investors on. Maybe they're trying to do this without investors or just with like some friends and family. So, those are all different things. Maybe they don't want value add. They want to buy low income housing. They want to buy brand new construction. They want to build brand new construction. Those are all different things. And, maybe they don't like fixed rate debt. They want floating rate debt. They want to flip the property, get in and out very quickly. Like those are all different strategies. And I can say, well, I don't like that. I think you shouldn't do it. That's my advice, but it doesn't mean it's right for them, right? So that you have to understand really what it means for you and take everybody's, and the other thing is like, well, why are you saying that? Like, why shouldn't I flip the property? What's your philosophy on that? Why don't you like doing that? Well, I have a certain reason why I like a little bit longer term hold, right? I have a very specific reason why I don't like floating rate debt, right? But other people can say, yeah, no, look, I get you don't like floating rate debt, but here's why I like it. And here's why I think you should do it. So, and they're right for them, right? It's not right for me. So, again, think about the advice, I like taking multiple people's opinions and formulating what I think is best for me and my strategy and how I want to move forward. I try to take advice from people that are way smarter than me, and there's a lot of people way smarter than me, a lot more successful than me, and I try to take their advice and then somebody else's advice that's, again, that's way smarter and has more experience, and I try to take 3, 4, 5 people's kind of advice and mold them into my investment philosophy, what I want to do and how I can, grow and become better. So there's a lot of stuff out there. Make sure you sift through the garbage. Know that there's a lot of garbage, and try to understand those motivations of the people that are giving you the advice. But go ask for it. I mean, like I think that's super valuable. Like you have to get out there. You have to ask for advice. You have to get people talking to you. You have to be asking questions. Like that's super valuable. And I think sites like Bigger Pockets, LinkedIn, even Facebook, there's a lot of good Facebook groups. Like those are great sites to get valuable advice. Just think about who you're getting the advice from before you take it for gospel. All right. That's it. That's all I got. You have a fantastic rest of the day. Make every day a Saturday. Hey, thanks so much for listening. I appreciate you being a loyal listener. I would love to have you go on to our Facebook page and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Go on to iTunes or wherever you listen and give us a rating and review. Don't forget to subscribe. Your rating and review just helps us push this out to more and more people and continue to grow our audience and hopefully positively affect a ton of people out there that really need this and want this. So the other thing I've got for you is a free ebook on my website. So go on to venturedproperties.com, venturedproperties.com, and download our free ebook on real estate and on syndication. And I've got some data points in there, some really good stuff for you. So I'd love to have you take a look at that. It's free. I'm not expecting anything from it. And also, look, if you want some help in multifamily, want some help learning, growing, getting your business off the ground, I would love to talk to you about what it would look like to work work with me potentially and see if that's a good fit. So you can go to coachwithdex.com and check that out. And we can definitely have a call. Thanks a lot for listening. You make it a fantastic rest of the day. I'll catch you on the next episode.